Do, 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 do. Left of the box. Okay, so I was working on another script and I just happened to pop on Twitter because I'm always popping on Twitter. Twitter's kind of like my thing. And then I came across this tweet. Holy hell, Alberta, Edmonton. What the actual fuck? Okay, let's go over this tweet. Okay, so it says Edmonton Police here, and here's the little blue check to indicate that, yes, this is a verified count of Edmonton Police. And if we click on that, oh, look at this. It does say Edmonton Police. Welcome to the EPS official. It says official right here. It says official Twitter feed. So this is the Edmonton Police that tweeted this out. Police use DNA phenotyping in an unsolved sexual assault. The Edmonton Police Service is, for the first time in its history, using DNA phenotyping in hopes of identifying a suspect in a 2019 sexual assault. Okay, so let's go over this. Let's go over this snapshot prediction result phenotype report. Let's see, sex, male. Okay, that DNA does that. It usually does that. Age, unknown. Oh, I wonder why. Why? Because DNA doesn't tell you how old the person is, and so they just shown at age 25. So this made-up person that they use this DNA to make is. This is 25. This is supposed to be a 25-year-old. That doesn't look like a 25-year-old to me. And then body mass, unknown. Why? Well, gee, because, DNA doesn't tell you the body mass index. They just put it here at 22, but it doesn't tell you how tall a person is, or it doesn't tell you if there's any other features about their body that might stick out from the crowd and help you to actually identify the person. No, it's just very generic. Ancestry. Oh, it says East African here. So this person is descended from East Africa only, really, but not really, because if you look down here in their little map here, that's not all East Africa. So it says 50%. Here it says 50% East Africa, but then it's also like split between West Africa and South Africa, and these are only percentages. So basically anywhere in Africa. And then it says skin color and eye color and hair color all are dark. But again, these are just percentages. This is a guess. Where these lines are, they're just guesses, and they're not even good guesses at that. And probably no freckles. Again, let's just go over. So not light brown, not blue-green eyes, not a blonde, and maybe just a few freckles. And do you know what else this tells you about the person? Nothing. It tells you nothing else about the person. It doesn't tell you if he was an immigrant, how long he's been in the country, does he speak with an accent, how big is his family. It doesn't tell you anything else about the person. The only thing this does is suggest he's a black male. This here is the official Edmonton Police Service webpage. Please use DNA phenotyping in unsolved sexual assault. And if we scroll down, there's the image again, and let's see. This is essentially a last resort after all other investigative avenues have been exhausted, says Detective Colleen Mainers with the EPS sexual assault section. It is by no means an immediate path to accusing a suspect. What it does is potentially give us a lead in a cold case, and we can follow up with DNA testing from there. No, it doesn't. It doesn't help narrow down who the suspect was. Because they have this little report, this DNA report thing, and it even suggests what region the person is from. And really, how helpful is that in Alberta? How many white people in Alberta can look at a black person and be like, their ancestors definitely from East Africa? How many white people in Alberta can do that? What? Maybe two white people in Alberta can do that? This doesn't narrow it down at all. All it does is make every black man in Alberta a suspect. And this happened back in 2019, so what's to say that person is even in Alberta anymore? So really, every black man across Canada is now a suspect in this case. Like seriously, Alberta already has a reputation of being like the most racist province in Canada. So were there like a few people there thinking, you know what? There might be some doubt. There might be some people across Canada that don't think we're the most racist province. And well, we want to be number one at something. So let's do this. Let's make sure there is no doubt anywhere in the country that we are the most racist province. Like the fact that they could post this on Twitter, on their webpage, and not even just take a moment to ask themselves, what would the optics be on this? Tells you everything you need to know about the racism in that police department. Because seriously, what are the demographics in Alberta anyway? So let's just do a quick search here on the demographics of Alberta. We have the Wikipedia page right here. Let's just do a quick search. So if we scroll down and we scroll down here and let's see. Oh, ethnic origin by regional group. So this would be like the ancestry, like the origins of people. So European origin. So that would be European ancestry there. 70%. Okay, so 70% of the population of Alberta have origins from Europe, which would suggest mostly white people. So most of the people in Alberta are white, and only 3.3% have African origins. Yep, just that little 3.3% there versus the 70% with European origins. The funny thing about this is when you have a province that is vast majority white people, that means the vast majority of crimes committed are by white people. That's kind of how it works. So the vast majority of crimes in Alberta are by white people, and yet they just happen to use this case where the suspect is black as their first in this phenotyping DNA facial generation experiment. They just happen to pick this case where the suspect is black versus all the cases where the suspects are white. Have all of those cases been solved? Like, are there no cases where there's white people anymore? They've just all been taken care of, and this was the only option they had left. I want this case to be solved. I want all violent crime to be solved. This isn't how you do it. All this does is make every black man a suspect. All this does is just make racial tensions even worse. It adds to stereotypes and this image of the scary black men. This doesn't help. But let's go back to that tweet. There's a little bit more there that we need to go over. You see, this tweet, it's still public. They haven't taken it down. I'm recording this video pretty late at night, so maybe they haven't clued into the optics of what this looks like. But you know what? Maybe they have, because if you scroll down, it's like, oh, who can reply? Let's see. People Edmonton Police mentioned can reply. Well, who did they mention? Let's see. Who did they mention in this tweet? Right, no one. They didn't mention anyone in this tweet. But there's lots of replies. If you start scrolling, there's definitely lots of replies to this. So the replies were up. Right, they took the replies off and made it so people can't reply anymore because they were being called out on their bullshit. So if we go to one of the replies that made it through before they were shut down, let's see. There's this reply here from Fred, and he says, I have a PhD in molecular and cellular biology, and I've done enough genetics work to know that what you're doing is racist, discriminatory garbage with no basis in actual science. Now, why would he say that? If we scroll down to this reply here that he has, some of the genetic data is made up by the company. And so here's an article about the company that made this little DNA report, this generated image, and I'll link it below so that you can read it for yourself to see that what they used to make this is on shaky ground. I used to look forward to seeing how science would make the world a better place, the improvements that it would make, how our lives would be easier, how problems would be solved. That's what happens when you grow up on Star Trek. You see this vision of a future where there's no hunger, there's no poverty, like racial issues have been solved. We see that, and when you grow up on Star Trek, that's kind of what you think is going to happen. But then you see how it's actually being implemented, how science is actually being used, and this isn't the future we saw. It's the future the right wing wants. A future with less racism. Like, that was the goal, right? Right? We were moving towards that in this country, around the world. A less racist world. That is the goal, right? No, this is how the right wing wants science to be used. This is how they want it to be implemented. They want to use it to single out Black people, to make the world a worse place, to make it more authoritarian. Like, all these advancements in science with DNA, it's not to help us. It's to help the right wing and their agenda. That's how it's being used right now. And why is it being used for this right wing agenda? Well, look at who's using it. The police department. And where does the police department usually sit when it comes to right. A lot of people in police departments tend to be right wing. So is it really any surprise that it's being used for right-wing agendas? Like there is systemic racism in the police departments. There's no doubt about that. So when they get their hands on science and technology, who do you think they target with it? I get so sick of people outside of this country or even in this country saying, oh, racism is not a big problem here. No, no, Canada, we're not a racist country. Yeah, we are. This is a very racist country. This country was built on white nationalism and genocide. This country is horrible when it comes to racism, but it just goes to show the success of the maple washing that has happened, that so many people seem to be oblivious of the realities. People of color, Black people, Indigenous peoples, the reality is that they're living through every day. This country is a racist country. Like, if this is how the police are going to use the money, the big budgets that they have, the budgets of millions of dollars they have to solve crimes and fix the communities, if this is how they're going to use it, they're making a really horrible case as to why they shouldn't be defunded. Movements like defund the police and Black Lives Matter, they didn't just pop out of nowhere. They didn't just come out of the blue. They're a result of the actions of the blue. And it's instances like this that really hit home why these movements are so important. Defund, dismantle, reinvent. Better ways of keeping communities safe are possible.